Hi, my name's Zach. I go by King Terminal on the tweeters or Warboot on various things, probably SA. I'm starting a hobby blog, and not really a blog, more like a vlog, because I'm lazy and I suck at writing, but mostly I'm lazy. So I'm making this vlog to basically just kind of push and make myself do more crap in my hobby, which, I mean, you see in the background is miniature wargaming, and up there some Shadows of Brimstone, which I have a million miniatures that I need to paint there as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over what I've got, what I'm working on. So far I've got pretty much nothing primed even. I've just been assembling and basing things, but I've got a whole bunch of stuff assembled and I've got just a little bit more left in assembly. So I've got everything based, and I want to use this as a weekly thing to just push me to actually put paint on models and assemble models and stuff like that. Which before, I'd build all the models and I'd be like, cool, these are cool. I don't get to play this game very often, so they sit in my closet or in a box, or a box in a closet, or a box under the bed, or a box on a shelf, or a box somewhere. So, what I'm going to go over today is just kind of an intro to what I've got so far. And then each week I'll keep you updated with what I've painted, even insofar as like priming and assembling stuff. Because I won't be buying anything as of right now for a bit, because I ain't got the money. Because I went a little overboard on these boys. So I'm going to cut now to an overview of what I've got over here. Alright, so first I'm just going to give you a little bit of a pan shot of all the stuff I've got so far. For this is mostly this is all Age of Sigmar stuff. This is all my skeleton legion of dudes. So I've got about 30 spear duders here. If you can see here in the middle, that guy's made out of Tomb King bits from a bits box. I found a single Tomb King guy with just the body and the shield. So I was like, that'll be my head guy. So I got 30 spear guys. I got another 10 I gotta assemble. And then over here, I've got 21 sword guys. Mostly because I've got the ability to split these into two different 10-man units. And I'm also going to build, I've got 20 more of them to build. And I'm going to fill in the musician. I've got an extra guy to fill in the musician or that, or alternatively I've got the Shadespire guys. The Shadespire guys fill in wonderfully for the swords guys. And then I got 20 Graveguard, and these guys are super cool. I gave them the shields and stuff because I think their survivability is probably a little bit better. I asked around online and no one really gave me a straight answer, so whatever. I got 10 dire wolves. These are actually the wolves from the Space Wolves catalog. Mostly because, one, it's hard to find the dire wolves right now, and two, the dire wolves look like crap. So I'm gonna paint them all black and make them like the black dog creature from myths. You know, the dog that foretells your death. Fits for the Death Army. And then I've got my Mortis engine. It's all together, but not all together, because I want to paint little bits and bobs in between, like the stuff under him, which is what I was going to do with this guy, with Manfred von Karstein. But when I took a look at him when he was glued to the base, he doesn't really block anything with the cape, unlike that dude right there. He blocks a lot of stuff with his cape. So I got Manfred and Archon the Black. And then I got two, whatever, the Morghast with the 5-up ignore mortal wounds save. And then I've got a handful of metal models in here. I've got the old vampire with the bat wing, mostly because he's my favorite of the like standing vampire models. And then for a second, I've got a necromancer here. I didn't want to have all my necromancers look the same, so for a second necromancer, I'm using an old lich priest. Mostly because Tomb Kings are rad, and I'm real sad that they don't exist anymore, which kind of sucks. I actually really like them. I've got your White King here. Your, what is it, Karn Wraith. That guy. I probably won't use him ever. Mostly because I don't use most of the ghost dudes. Speaking of ghost dudes, over here I've got what looks like 15 of the Hex Wraiths. But I'm not going to be gluing them to the bases. Or, well, the horse's head's probably going to fall off here. Oh, it stayed on. So, all of these come with like the little peg hole on the bottom. Same with the knights. So the knights have all the peg hole there too. I'm not real sure if I'm going to maintain keeping them like that, so I can switch between the two, or if I'll just make 10 knights and 5 hex wraiths, because I don't know if I'm going to be using the hex wraiths very often. I mean, they look cool and they do cool stuff, but honestly, I don't know if I'm going to be doing much often. Like, my roommate bought some iron jaws, but he's not super into it like I am, so it'll probably be me beating the crap out of him a bunch. I'm going to try to do battle reports when my table comes in, but, you know, battle reports sometimes are good, sometimes are bad. I don't know. So that's all my dudes that are assembled for now. And I picked up the Azurite ruins, and they're really cool. They remind me of the old 40k ruins that came with the starters. They're neat. They're this weird, like, hinge thing. I really need to clean them because they've got sprue marks all over the place. So I'm going to clean them and prime them and paint them up just pretty quickly so I can have some basic terrain. I'm probably going to make some styrofoam hills and, like, the tower spire things that I swear is on every board ever. And then I found this rock at work. I like it. It's flat on the bottom-ish. I'm going to mount it to a piece of hardboard. Well, I'm going to clean it first. I'm going to mount it to a piece of hardboard, and it'll be a little rock obstruction. I might cut up a chunk of styrofoam and add a couple around its base to make it a little bit bigger. But for now, that's what I've got built. And I'm going to cut here in a second to what's on the building table, which is quite a bit of stuff still, unfortunately, because I got to base a bunch of stuff. Alright, as you can see, this is where I assemble and paint my miniatures. It's not particularly great, but, you know, it's what I've got. I've got my Vampire Lord on Zombie Dragon. I've got his base I still need to do, so it's blank and ugly. I spent a bit making this guy. Sometimes the arms don't fit right, but I drilled up in him so I could have just the zombie dragon if I wanted. And I also drilled into his arm here and put a pin so he looks like some sort of creepy cyborg man with an exchangeable arm when this is off. It takes a bit for me to get off sometimes because I stuck some glue on the peg because it was too loose. So I can switch the sword with that if I need be. So it's cheaper for me because, you know, stuff's expensive. So I've got him that is almost done. I've got the Abhorrent Ghoul King that comes with your Zombie Dragon kits. He's in literal pieces. He hasn't been cleaned or anything at all. And then I've got a whole box of stuff that needs to be assembled. And I'll show that in a minute. I've got Vargeists in a bag. That's all their pieces cleaned and everything. So they should be the next one that's up for assembly. I got 3 of them. I kind of want 6 in total at minimum, so I can run the Manfred list thing. Extra Vargeist pieces. I can go over there. I've got all of the torsos and legs for the 30 more skeletons I've got to put together. I'll clean and assemble those. The way I like to assemble those is I take the base, I take my Vallejo slop and just scrum it all over the base, and then I stick the legs right down in them. Because if the legs come off eventually, I can just glue them right back into the thing, and it looks better than the weird these are some of the older ways I used to do my miniatures where they've got the weird hovering foot here, and that always bothers me. And then I've got 10 ghouls here that are even still on sprue that I'm not really sure that I'm actually going to build or not, because I don't really need the ghouls. It's just they came with the zombie dragon Vargeist starter, and it was cheaper to buy the starter and get 10 free ghouls than buy the zombie dragon and the Vargeist separately. And then I've got Neferata over here hanging out on a cork with her, whatever the heck those things are called, its head. Originally I was going to magnetize them all, but I decided that later on when I got around to painting them, I wanted them all to be very different colors. So, and then, of course, I've got tons of half-finished hobby projects. Metal Space Marine. I've got these custom, or not, I guess they're not really custom, but they're, instead of trophy poles, I had shrines I built on the backs of these guys, and I'm really looking forward to painting them. And hopefully this blog's going to, help me actually get around to painting. But as what happens is I build them, I have a great idea, and I've got a good paint scheme I want to go with. And then I get to the priming phase, and I just stop doing it because I get distracted with something else. So hopefully honestly, if anybody watches this, I really hope the people that watch this just encourage me and keep on me about it, because I'm real bad about not finishing things. Look at my inner elbow there. But yeah, that's about what I've got for now. I don't really have a lot more in the particular project that I'm working on right now. Once I'm done with my my Death Army, although it'll probably be a while for the Death Army to be finished, I do plan on finishing my Chaos Space Marines. So hopefully this is going to help me continue with my hobbying, and so things don't end up in these bags or boxes on my shelves. I've actually got to sell a good chunk of stuff that I'm not going to ever play again. So I hope that whoever's watching this, if people are watching this probably will just go into the ether, and my friend Adam will watch it and be like, "Ah, it's Zach! Ha 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 ha! He's great! I love Zach!" But, so if anybody watches this, I would really, really like for people to send comments, post pictures of stuff that you're working on, stuff that'll help encourage me to keep painting and keep painting and keep painting, because I have a whole lot of stuff that I need to paint. Even if I don't buy anything for the next 2 years, I'm pretty sure I'd be set if I painted even 10 models a day. I'm pretty sure in the next 2 years I still wouldn't be able to catch up with what I've got. So hopefully after my Age of Sigmar stuff is done, I'll move on to my 40k stuff. And from when my 40k stuff is done, honestly, I'll probably buy more stuff for both of them. But I've got Infinity stuff I need to paint. I've got Dark Age stuff I need to paint. I've got a ton of War Machine Horde stuff I need to paint still. And I've got some War Machine Horde stuff I need to sell, but nobody's buying that right now, so... like, I still kind of like the game, but I just... as with all of my hobbies right now, I don't have anybody to play with. And it's not that people in the area don't play, it's that the days off I've got, or the days that I can play, everybody else is doing other stuff, or the game stores in the area are doing other stuff on those days that take up the whole day. So, hopefully, I'll, be able to paint stuff, put it on the table, be able to be like, haha, I've painted all of these miniatures, and they look great. Because, as you saw earlier, the stuff I paint, that was the cultist guy I showed, that wasn't a really, good paint job on my end. But he looked okay, and that's all I really am aiming at for a lot of these, mob groups of dudes, is that they look okay on the table, and they look pretty decent up close, too. But yeah, hopefully when my roommate gets his stuff assembled, and he starts painting, I'm going to try to start doing a little bit of battle reports. Those probably aren't going to go well, mostly because Age of Sigmar is new to me. All of this stuff I've bought in the last 3 months. The rules look really simple. I know how to play 40k okay. 8th edition 40k, I know how to play that okay. Although I'll probably get rules wrong in both of those still. But I just want to play war games. I play video games a little bit, but I just want to play war games. So, thank you for watching this video. If you've sat through, I don't know how long this is going to be, because I'm going to cut a whole bunch of stuff out, because there's a bunch of me going at the camera and just rambling or getting my tongue tied about things. So, hopefully y'all watch this video all the way to the end, and hopefully you enjoyed it. Probably, maybe, I don't know. Some people like this kind of stuff. I like this kind of stuff, which is why I'm making this kind of thing. But hopefully, you watch through all the video, and send me positive messages. Send me encouragement, because I'll need it. Because I've got a whole lot of crap to make. I do at least have an airbrush.